Hello, hi everyone. Today we're going to continue with a course on HCIA storage. Previously, we talked about the basic concepts of data and information and their relationship. In this lesson, we will officially start discussing what data storage is. So, take a look around you. Your mobile phone and the server in the computer room. Are they storage? You can't say they are completely storage devices, but inside them, there is indeed a storage component, mainly the disks. So here, the main storage medium we have includes a lot of content, like some of the things. Here, CDs, hard drives. And on the left, there are some things like DVDs, zip files, and so on. What these actually are our data storage. The one on the left actually belongs to a narrow sense. Storage in a narrow sense. These are compressed files, hard disks, CDs, etc. On the right, we have our large server. Disk array cabinets, which are not just individual 1 or 12 disks. Instead, they are a disk folding cabinet made up of dozens or even hundreds of disks. What is this? This is our data storage. So, what we're talking about in this course regarding storage is what's on the right. Our server level. The storage-related content about disk arrays is on the left, which you might encounter in your daily life. On the right is what we will mainly focus on discussing. This is what we refer to as a broad definition of storage. Next, let's take a look at the basic aspects of storage systems. First and foremost, we have our hardware. Then on top of that is the software. And finally, we have our solutions. Here, first of all, our foundation is not just a single technology. First of all, what do we need at the bottom layer? We need our disk array. The disk array cabinet, including some switches, our disk array, cards, and various network, cables, etc. These are all part of our hardware foundation. We build upon this basic hardware. On top of that, what do we build? We build some software for our storage. For example, snapshot imaging or backup software. These are actually all part of our storage software. Based on these components, our top-level solution ultimately consists of our disaster recovery solutions and backup solutions. What do we build on top of them? We build some software for our storage. For example, snapshot, imaging, or backup software. These are actually all part of our storage software. Based on these components, our top-level solution ultimately consists of our disaster recovery solutions and backup solutions. Backup by brothers and our disaster recovery at different locations, etc. This is our overall data storage system, a composition that includes everything from hardware to software to the final solution. This is the overall structure we have. Next, let's first take a look at the very bottom layer of the storage's physical structure. So first of all, what does a single storage device mainly include? It mainly includes hard drives, right? It includes hard drives. The controller, the connectors, and finally the storage itself. These are the main components. When we typically and usually use a storage system, at the very top layer, we have the host, and beneath the host is our storage content. On this side, we have a switching device for our storage gateway. If you have a large cluster, or are setting up some disk array cabinets, you can't just connect them directly to a specific server. This is definitely set up separately. Once it's set up, how do we connect it to our corresponding host? It's actually done through a network connection, right? By using network cables and our switching devices to establish a basic connection. And on the right, we have our NS gateway. Below the gateway, we have our specific storage application software, and here we have the storage management software. So, what does management include? It includes these items on the left. First, we have the controller, the front-end card cache controller, the back-end card, and the storage components, which are divided into these parts. The main storage. Of course, we mainly use hard disks, but you can't say that only hard disks are responsible for storage. Here, the hard disk is actually only a part of the storage. It is only a part of the storage, and it is still normal. What else do we use for storage? It also includes cache, connectors, and so on. Well, in general, the bottom layer is actually the disk, the bottom layer of the disk. We add other caches, including other array cards, etc. on the basis of the bottom disk to form our basic storage system, which constitutes the most basic system. What is the management software mainly used for? It is mainly used to manage the stored information. It manages the stored data. Its main functions include data, configuration, monitoring and optimization of the internal components of our storage. This is the overall physical structure of our storage, which is composed of the contents on the left and our software as a whole. It is not a single content. It is the hardware on the left and some software on the right, which together make up our complete physical structure of storage. This is the basic structure of our physical storage. So, besides physical storage, we also need to understand the classification of data storage. Let me explain this to you. So what types do we divide it into? First of all, the main classification is what? It's internal storage and external storage. What does internal mean? Your computer and phone. A server, of course, will have at least one basic hard drive, at least one. Otherwise, your system won't be able to boot up. At least one hard drive is needed to support the overall startup of your system. This is just to assist with internal storage. Any storage other than internal storage is actually considered external storage. What are the contents? First, there are actually several different classifications here. So, normally, let's say your server, for example, if the hard drives in your server are all filled up, and you want to expand further, what do you do if your internal storage is full? And you want to add some external storage? What do we need at this time? Well, we need to add the two types of content on the right. First, the first one. This is direct attached storage. As for direct attached storage, it refers to directly connecting some of the disk array devices we just mentioned. So, it doesn't belong to your server itself, but we can connect a disk array cabinet through some other physical connection methods to help you expand your overall storage space. This is one way. Direct attached storage, Monsieur Phone Design, and the second type is FAS, which stands for network attached storage. The classification here is actually quite extensive, with many different types. It's mainly divided into three types. This is one of the types of network attached storage. It's called a storage area network. The second NS is called. Our network attached storage includes the third type, which is object storage. Here, let me briefly introduce it to you, and we will cover it in more detail in our upcoming lessons. First of all, the most basic one, NS, is actually very common here. This is done through some network methods to share our files or directories. Sharing files and directories, that's our NS, while SN refers to the storage area network. So how is this generally done? It's shared through a network, specifically sharing our block devices, which are disks. The third type of object storage is also network, which is the following three. In fact, they are all networks, all network storage. This network is a little different. As we all know, our current situation is an era of large data packaging. There is a lot of data. The unstructured data we introduced at the beginning is actually increasing, and it has gradually occupied a dominant position. In this case, if you store a lot of non-planned data normally, can you store it in the hard disk or in our database? Yes, there is no problem. The database can store and discard planned data, but relatively speaking, your efficiency is not that high, and it consumes more resources. So what do we need in this case? Well, we need to use our object storage. What is it similar to? It is similar to a small network disk. You can use the network disk to understand it first. Later, I will introduce its basic concept to you. It is equivalent to this network disk. With cloud storage, as we all know, you can upload any content you want, right? There are no format requirements. You just upload whatever you have. It saves one, uploads it, and saves it one by one. As long as your space is large enough, it can keep uploading. This is object storage, which is similar to the function of our network disk. This is a basic classification of our data storage. Regarding data storage here, the basic situation here is that we will mainly focus on explaining the following content, which includes SAN, NAS, object storage, as well as direct attached storage, and network storage. So that's our basic classification of storage. So next up, the history of storage. You can just briefly learn about it. For historical things, you just need to understand them. First of all, hours. As for storage, the earliest mice data was recorded on card paper bags in the last century. Then, it gradually developed into disks and magnetic tapes. This concept appeared with disks and tapes. After that, what was born? File system management, which includes our files, folder directories, and so on. We use these to perform some basic storage. And then what happened next? Specialized storage devices started to appear, such as databases, and dedicated storage devices for databases. Finally, most of what we have now is some distributed storage. A large number of distributed storage software. In fact, there are a lot of these software. The main function is actually to help us to perform large-scale data storage, including big data management. Because the term distributed means that it consists of many different servers forming a whole cluster, which makes it easy to scale up. In theory, with distributed storage, there is actually no upper limit on the number of disks. There's no upper limit. Theoretically, this is the basic evolution process of our data management, and you can just understand it at a general level. And finally, the application of data storage. In fact, the application field is everything in our current life, that is, all the content. We can see now, in fact, it is inseparable from the help of data storage. No matter if it's the websites you're browsing or the apps on your phone, there's actually a lot of data supporting them behind the scenes. Structured data is mostly stored in databases, while for unstructured data like images, videos, and music, many people now use object storage to store related content. This is actually a basic application of our data storage, which is present in every aspect of our lives. Everything is connected to it. Specifically within our servers, we can include things like database servers, application servers, file servers, email servers, and so on. Storage is actually divided into many different types. There are online storage, offline storage, and online storage. This is what it is. This is actually a basic application of our overall data storage. In fact, it is in all aspects of life, all that we can touch in our lives now. Everything related to our electronic devices actually relies on storage. This is the basic function of storage. The main role of storage is data, access, protection, and management. This is what we will focus on learning next. Alright, so that's a brief introduction to data storage for now. If anyone wants to learn about Huawei certification technology or wants to get access to Huawei certification question banks, feel free to message me privately, or you can leave comments below the video for further discussion. Alright, so today let's start with